Welcome.
Beard's coming in nice.
Yeah, they haven't made me shave it in a month or so. Talk about, when I first started there, they said you can't have a beard, so they made me shave it. And then I just never. I work night shifts and weekends, so I just never work with my boss anymore. So he just doesn't see me. So
I worked at a place where you could have a beard or you could be clean shaven, but you couldn't be growing a beard.
that's. I've actually heard that. Where was that?
Yeah, that was Red Lobster a long time ago. So the only way you could have a beard is like vacation. You grow it out as much as you can. Hopefully, you passed it. That was like enough of a beard level.
That could be like a funny sketch where like the boss has got the ruler. He's like, "Oh, 2 cents. You made the cut."
And I feel like I can grow a beard pretty quickly, but a lot of people can't. You know what I mean? It takes them a while. They might never be allowed to have a beard.
It's real discriminatory.
I'm, I'm telling you, like I would sneak in sometimes. I'd forget to shave, and the manager would pop out and be like, "Go home and shave." I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even get in the door yet."
Do you think it's funny that the two places that we've worked that have had a problem with it are Red Lobster and Taco Bell?
No, that tracks.
Yeah,
Um,
setting our sights high.
so are you growing the beard out? Is that part of your skin protection plan for walking across the desert?
It wasn't. I kind of have been in like a lull a little bit, so like the mood has been kind of going down. Just happens when you work 80 hours a week at two jobs you don't necessarily love. But usually when a little sadder, I grow a beard out. I don't know if it's just a chicken or an egg situation. Probably the sadness comes first, and then the beard comes second. But I also this is a weird thing too. I find that it makes me a better writer.
I like getting into character a little bit.
100% in a character, and I'm in the process of finishing up my novel, so I'm like almost done with it. This is one that I wrote a few years ago, and I've just like tweaking it, the final editing touches. Had some friends look it over, had paid an editor to look it over, and now I'm doing some revisions. And so I need to like it's it's got some darkness in it, and this I feel like this is a little darkness too.
Okay, and then is this one in English?
Yeah, yeah. All my books from here on out will be in English. I mean, I okay. So, spoiler alert, not spoiler alert, but like fair warning, I will publish one day in my life a French and a Swahili book. That's just because I've already written them and they're on my laptop. Um, but any book that I write now on will be in English because it's like I don't want to handcuff myself anymore by my lack of ability in the language.
Okay. And then so what's your timeline look like on getting that published? You think?
Okay, that's tricky. I had decided that I was going to self-publish it because I wasn't super thrilled with my first two published books. But then I talked to my editor, and he's like, if you get with the right publisher, they can just put it in front of so many more people, and you get like movie rights and a lot of other stuff. And so he's like, definitely try to go that route first. And I thought, like, okay, that's fair. I've never done this in America, so maybe the game is a little bit more fortunate to or more advantageous to people who traditionally publish. So there is I wrote it in 2021, and it's just been sitting on the computer unedited for a few years, and I'm super dyslexic, so whenever I edit it, it doesn't really help much. So I sent it to a professional editor. He got back to me. He worked on he told me to rewrite some of the revisions, so I'm doing that right now with the help of a friend. And I'd like to finish it by May 10th. That's my goal because on May 10th, I'm living in the city of Portland right now, and they have the Portland Writers Conference. And you can go there and pitch it to a literary agent. You can say, like, this is my book. You can buy 10 minutes of their time for like 29 bucks. I mean, the conference is like 160, but on top of that, it's like 29 bucks. And I think if I can get in front of them, pitch my idea for my book, show them the actual writing of it, I can get picked up by a literary agent, and then they can push it to a a publisher, and then we're looking at like 4 to 6 months. But if I don't get it picked up by a literary agency, maybe a year. I mean, this process is like moves like molasses. It's so slow.
Interesting. Well, I haven't read really much of your writing, but I know you, and I think you'd be a pretty good salesperson for your own. So
Yeah.
you got that going for you.
Thank you. I believe in myself. That's my greatest attribute.
Yeah.
Are you a reader?
That's. I used to be a extremely average, super avid reader, like for years and years and years, and now I just mostly do audiobooks if I do get a chance.
Okay, so you don't like because what I could have what I was gonna do one of these episodes is I could have sent you the finished manuscript and you could read it and you could do a book review on here one of these episodes.
Yeah, send it over.
Okay, almost done, but I will when it is.
Okay. And I might have told you this story before. So I have a friend who's written some novels, and he had a guest on his show, and the guest was like, "Hey, you should release it as an audiobook. A ton of people are consuming audiobooks." He's like, "No, no one would do it." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I promise they would." He's like, so he's got a bunch of people on Twitter, so he put a poll out like, should I release an audio? And it was like 91% voted yes. And the way that you do it when you're kind of an
Okay, so you cut out when you said what you do as a newer author. So could you repeat that? I would need to have multiple. I mean, yeah, I'd do that, but I need to have there's six different characters that I each tell the first person perspective, and so and three at least three of them, maybe four of them are female. So I would need to have at least a female reader as well.
to the mom, it's just like, okay, come to dinner. They don't modulate their voice too much. They have different voices, but there's plenty of uh,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The whole world becomes easier if you have just like a little bit of money. Probably so 0 to 100 probably 30, 35. Just low energy, kind of down. It happens. There's most people don't know this, but like scientifically like bipolar mania, it comes in hot the first week of spring. Like like traditionally like the highest percentage of manic outbursts during the course of the year happen in early spring. And I don't know if you remember, but there was like 3 weeks ago when I took 2 weeks ago, something like that, where I told you I'm not sleeping. I I haven't slept for a few days. And so that was the mania, and now we're a couple weeks after that, and I'm just like recovering.
that's interesting because I know that like I've something I know about myself is my mood is tied a lot more to the weather than I would like to admit. And when it's nice out, I'm so happy. And when it's gloomy and rainy, I'm not as happy as I'd like to be. So I can imagine that's even more extreme. If you've got bipolar, you can be even more sensitive to that.
Yeah, and it's super like I wish I wasn't like this, but my mood is also more tied to circumstance too. Like don't get me wrong, like I have like the uncontrollable like mania and depression and all that, but like a lot of that can be triggered by things in my life that trigger me. So like you look at and it bothered me as an athlete growing up because athlete or like in high school and college because athletes you're supposed to be even keel and show no emotion like they always preach that like when you watch professional sports games like show no emotion you'll be successful. Well, like I'm bipolar, I have a lot of emotion, and something negative can happen in my life and it'll set me off into a mania stage where I'll just be not sleeping for 3 days because someone said something that really hurt my feelings.
Interesting. I totally know what you're saying because I was just thinking about that. So like I'm a big Denver Nuggets fan, and I think of Nikola Jokic, very stoic, right? He doesn't get super emotional. He does every once in a while.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. very stoic, but then you got Jamal Murray. He's very animated. He's very passionate. Very his facial expressions are always how he's feeling, and it's like I kind of like the balance of watching both of those types of players. So I think it's okay to show emotion. I think it's okay to be stoic. It's just kind of you know it's better I think to kind of be who you are than try and suppress anything that any way that you naturally feel.
But you do have to admit we sort of romanticize the idea of lack of emotion in our society.
Oh, definitely,
Look,
definitely, especially men.
yeah, look at him. He's so even keel. He never cries. He never feels pain. He's a warrior.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's funny. Yeah, definitely. And then so with moods in general, I mean, you think of bipolar as like you got the highs and the lows, but I can imagine probably there's times where you're manic and feeling good, but then something irritates you, and then it can be kind of a more complex emotion. Do you experience that where it's not so cut and dry as some people might think?
Yeah, so it's I look at it as like a roller coaster or like rolling hills, right? So like you can be up on the manic and you can be down on the depressed, but like coming down, going up, like there's all these variations. You can go sideways as you're coming down, you know. So like a good example of that might be um I would like I'll not sleep for a couple days and I'll be like manic and I'll be real energized by like we're talking about sports. When the Warriors won the championship, I didn't sleep for like 2 nights after that because I was like jazzed up, you know. And I was on the Camino de Santiago in Spain, um, and I was working as a hostel worker there. And I keep in mind in Spain they're 9 hours ahead, so I'm watching those games from like 2 to 5 in the morning, and then
Oh
I'm
wow.
I'm getting up at 5 to like make breakfast for all the walkers, the pilgrims, and then I thought like it'd be fun is if I walked one of the stages today, and the stages are like 15 miles. So I walked it, and then I thought this wasn't very smart. I don't live here now. I have to walk back. So then I walked back, and then I got back at like 2 in the morning. I was like, yeah, I got to be up in a few hours, not. And so like I was feeling pretty good, but then you get super irritable, right? And I was like I don't know if you noticed this, but when you're tired, your trigger is a lot quicker. I'll be I'll be working at Taco Bell, and
This is unbelievable right now.
what oh, it's all
This car alarm right next to me is going crazy. There's nobody out here.
um, okay, so I'll just talk. So I'll be working at Taco Bell, and I'll just be like super frustrated because I'm tired, and I'll be like, God, why are they making so many modifications on their orders? Or it's like stop ordering no this with the and I'm not the one cooking it, so it shouldn't affect me. And it shouldn't affect me at all, but I'm tired and I'm irritable. And then I get irritable, so then I get wound up, and then I don't sleep, and then I get more tired. It's a vicious cycle.
Oof, that sounds awful.
Yeah. And then um yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I quit my elementary job during the week. And I switched to high school. Like I just realized I was starting to think maybe I didn't like kids, but I just didn't like 30 of them yelling at me.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So, do you have like what's your best way? Like, you're home. You're after an irritating shift. You know you're kind of agitated. What's your kind of go to try and not feel that way or unwind or whatever?
It's been tough. Like I've been usually sports is a big one. I can watch a game and relax, or I can work out, or I can like be with someone who I love. Those are like the three big ones. However, I'm single. I'm getting off work at 12, so that takes working out, and there's no sports on at 12:30 at night. So like
That's a good point.
I've just been kind of like suppressing my emotions these last 2 months, which is why I think I'm kind of going down.
Do you ever try meditation?
Yeah, it makes me angry. I
Some would probably say you're not doing it right, but I don't know enough about it, so
well,
I couldn't give you any advice there.
meditation requires a certain amount of practice and a certain amount of like natural zen, I feel like. And so whenever I do it, I just get like
Yep.
really worked up on an idea. And you're supposed to think of nothing, but I think of everything. And then I get angry and it's just me alone with my thoughts. So I believe everyone who can do meditation should do meditation. I don't think I am capable.
so hard to get that to quiet down. It does take, like you said, practice. It takes a lot of hard work, and I think especially for some people, it's even a lot harder work.
And I think there's you see all the time with like these monks and stuff in Tibet where it's like the key is enlightenment. Like I want to get enlightened. Man, I don't think I can get that far. I'd just rather be happy. Whatever that means. We're still figuring that out too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. We had a good little 15-minute session today. And how much longer do you have before you hit the trail?
Okay, so my flight date to South Africa is June 19th. I have a couple day layover in Europe, and then I'll arrive there on like June 23rd, and then I have an interview with the radio station there, so I'll probably start my walk on like the 25th or 26th of June. So we're within 2 months.
Cool. All right. Home stretch. I mean, kind of.
If
It's
you
on the
say,
horizon.
yeah, if you say so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you, and then we'll be back next week to talk about some more stuff.
All right, sounds good. Thanks everyone who listened for listening, and take care.
All right. See ya.